Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Marvel Rivals support / strategists and how you can improve on them. Now in this video, expect to receive tips and tricks on how to improve as a strategist player. So before diving into any specific characters within the role, I want to talk about the role itself. I believe the role of support is to create fights or end them, always stay alive, so survivability, and also just being aware of your surroundings at all times. I believe as a healer, you have to be adaptable. You have to adapt to whatever situation is happening, and you have to be able to predict what is going to happen, especially with vanguards and the duelists doing their ults and stuff. It's kind of predictable. So with that being said, you need to know when to use your ult and not when to use your ult, and just sustaining as a whole. So with the three things I just mentioned about the role itself, here's kind of the specifics into that. So with sustaining the team and creating an infights, you need to know on the other side what the DPS are going to do, how do they play, and where they are at all times, because that is especially important because they are trying to come for you. Yes, they're trying to come for you. So you need to know how to cycle your abilities and not use them all at once so you won't be useless. I know the situation kind of tells itself. Sometimes you need to use all your abilities, sometimes you need to stagger them. It's all about what the situation calls for, because there's infinite amount of possibilities that can happen in this game. Now with map awareness, this one's kind of obvious. Just always be in the line of sight of your team. Do not be in front. It's kind of selling. You're just intentionally throwing at that point, but otherwise know where everyone is on the map at all times. If someone is flanking, you have to call it out. You have to ping it. Use that ping system. Please use it. Use that ping system. You always need to keep track of your team's positioning and knowing when to aggress and when to play back. If someone is playing back as a duelist on your team and you guys are playing too passive, they're gonna die because you're not in line of sight to heal them. So you need to know how and when to play aggressive and passive. And now as far as adaptability / survivability, you'll need to adapt to the flow of the game, because every game is not the same unless you have selling DPS or things like that, but there's not much you can do right there. But anyway, is the other team playing really passive? Are they just building ults at that time? What are they really trying to do? What is the goal of the enemy team onto your team? You need to have that in your mind. Also, you need to know when and how to disrupt the enemy, make them play back a little, which kind of 99% involves using your ultimate ability to stop fights from continuing forward and things of that nature. Moving on, I want to talk about some healers I think anyone can really get into. So for example, I believe Rocket Raccoon, Cloak and Dagger. I think Luna's also good, but most of the time she's banned. So I would say Rocket, Mantis, or someone like Adam Warlock or Loki. So to talk about Cloak and Dagger first, she's kind of a heal bot. I'm not gonna lie, she's a heal bot. So with Cloak, he has a kind of rectangular thing and kind of like a lock-on damage output. So it's really not that hard to get kills with him. You just have to know when and how to use him. But most of the time, you're gonna be playing Dagger. So with that being said, you literally do not have to aim with her. You don't have to aim with her. As long as your sensitivity is high and it's at least close enough to the character you're trying to heal, it will lock onto them. So don't worry about that. I think the main thing with Cloak and Dagger is knowing how to cycle their abilities. Sometimes you're going to have to stagger them, and sometimes you're going to have to use them all at once. It really depends on the situation. That's kind of what's going to be the goal and kind of the theme of this video is, as a strategist, you kind of have to adapt to the situation at hand. So, and there's so many, I can't really tell you what to do in each and every situation, so you're gonna have to learn that on your own. So the next support is Rocket Raccoon. That's who I mainly play as a strategist, but if I do have to play other strategists, I do play Mantis a lot and or Cloak and Dagger, but my next go-to is Mantis. So for Rocket Raccoon, he is really good at surviving. If you die with him, you suck. Yes, you suck. No, I'm just kidding. But as Rocket Raccoon, your main goal is to survive and always have that revive beacon down. There should not be a second where it is not down unless it's on cooldown. You need to have that revive ability up at all times. Also, you need to place it in very niche spots that you're not playing by, and places it won't be obvious at. You should be miles away from your beacon at all times, but close enough to where your teammate dies, it can respawn them back. You should never be playing close to your beacon unless it's in a really good spot that no one will figure out. Another thing with Rocket is you can kind of play DPS slash that hero role, but I tend to play him more as a heal bot. I'm not gonna lie, I play him as a heal bot. But you know, if you want to take those off angles and, you know, do a little damage with his minigun, I think his damage output is pretty good. Considering the amount of ammo he has pretty good damage output. He's really good at finishing off enemies that are like half or below, you know, their health pool. So I think that's a really good thing about him too. But the main thing is surviving. Now with Loki, he's kind of a little more trickier because he has clones, obviously, so he can heal up to 3 times the output of another healer per se, because he has 2 clones with him, and he also has a invisibility ability, which is really good to sneak away from. And the best thing about his kit is his ultimate. Yes, his ultimate. If you can copy a Luna Snow or a Mantis to have that extra healer slash support ultimate in the fight, that's game winner right there. That is literally game winner. Whether you're using it to aggress first and then the actual Mantis or Luna uses their ult afterwards, it is so good. His ult is one of the best abilities in the game. Well, one of the best ultimate abilities in the game, in my opinion. If you can get his ultimate pretty fast, I think all of his abilities actually are really good. So use them to the best of your ability. Also, as I'm describing these characters, if you want me to make a, you know, full-on breakdown of that character itself, especially characters like Mantis and Rocket Raccoon, drop a comment below and tell me which one you want me to do it on first, and specifically the questions you have regarding those characters, because I'm happy to tell you guys. I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have. So just let me know and I will, you know, do a breakdown of it, or a breakdown of whatever you guys want. Also, he's kind of mid in my opinion, which is Jeff the Shark. Yes, Jeff the Shark. He's not really good in my opinion. He's really good at surviving as well, and he's just a nuisance and annoying, honestly, especially on payload maps, where he's just kind of swimming around the point, just waiting to get his ult to just eat everybody up and just take him off the map. That is really annoying. But he's not really played that much in high level ranks. I'm Grandmaster 2 right now, so I don't really see him a lot. So I would say kind of in the platinum and below ranks, he's kind of okay slash good, because players don't really know what to do against him or to play with him, honestly. So take advantage of that. But yeah, I would say Jeff is another good pick. So now I want to talk about common mistakes when playing support slash strategist role and how you can avoid them yourself. So for me, I think, like I've been preaching, is survivability. You never want to be overextending. There should be no reason why you're overextending. I don't care if it's to get the first pick of the game as Mantis or anything like that. No. You need to survive and always have line of sight with your teammates. You need to always stay behind cover in your front line slash vanguards. And another thing is, you always need to know when to retreat and when to aggress. So, you know, if a fight is happening and one vanguard goes down and you guys don't have a revive ability or a way to get them back, I would probably start to retreat, especially if their DPS are getting kills on your DPS and other vanguards. It's most likely that they're going to win the fight. So I would just retreat. You know, staying alive is more important. So, and just building that ult. Each second you're not healing, you know, that's just time wasted in my opinion. So you need to be alive and just have line of sight at all times and knowing when to retreat. Another thing is, you know, just spamming abilities. You never want to do that, especially in the lower ranks. You're just useless, to be honest, if you're just spamming abilities with Luna, Mantis, Rocket Raccoon, you know, Loki, because you're not going to have anything when the actual fight happens. You never want to use your abilities early. I would use them, you know, as kind of like the beginner to mid fights happen. And now I'm going to give you some tips as to how you can become, you know, just a better overall player and a support player yourself. So number one, you need to anticipate the damage that the enemy team is going to do to your vanguards and duelists. You need to have a kind of predictability mindset of what the enemy team is going to do, especially as they're building their ults and things like that. You need to know kind of what they're going to do already. Like if someone's flanking you, you know, if they have a magic on their team, you can literally hear them popping their ult. Most of the times magics are going to pop their ult and then go in to the back line and try to destroy you guys. So just having, like, if you have a mantis or rocket raccoon, you know, just having your sleep ready and just being ready to, you know, climb walls and all that other stuff with a rocket raccoon, just make sure you're on go mode. Just make sure you're not sleeping. This role is not a sleeper type role. You need to be head on in the fights at all times. You can never sleep. And another thing is, you need to coordinate with your team, especially as, you know, you guys are building your ults. You know, I know everyone doesn't talk in this game. You know, I didn't really start talking until I got to Grandmasters. So, yeah, with that being said, you really need to synchronize your ultimates and knowing how and when to use yours. Never, never, never use your support ults at the same time. No, don't do that. What are you doing? Do not do that. Don't ever do that. I don't care what rank you're in. If you do that, you're L. It's automatic L. So don't do that. Please do not do that. And the last thing is, I would say adapt to the match that you're playing. Like I said, you need to adapt to the flow of the match because every game is different and there's infinite possibilities and, you know, angles and all that stuff that different players take themselves. So you need to adapt to all of that. So with that being said, you know, if they're targeting you heavily, you need to ping that out every time. You need to communicate with the team. I don't care if you type it, you text it, or type it, you know, talk it out, like, or at least ping. But you need to know how to communicate with your team, even if it doesn't involve talking. So that wraps up kind of like a beginner's guide / tips and tricks on support video. Please comment down below anything I missed or anything else you would like me to make a video on. Just let me know what you want me to go more in depth on and I will do it for you. If you guys did enjoy, please go ahead and like and subscribe for me. I will enjoy that. And if you guys have any questions or things I missed out, please comment them down below. I want to answer all your questions and I want you to get better as strategists and I want you to rank up. So with that being said, go ahead and comment down something I missed or anything you would like further touch on. With that being said, peace.